Sagittarius, there's something strange happening to you. You haven't changed how you speak. You're not trying to show off anything new. In fact, you've been showing up less, speaking less, holding more to yourself. But somehow, in that quiet, something unusual has been born. You're not trying to shine anymore. Your light is simply pouring out of you. From your body, from your gaze, from the way you take up space without needing to say a word. There are deep shifts happening in your energetic field, changes you thought only you could feel. But no, others around you have started to notice. They don't say it out loud, but they feel it. They react, they step back, they grow cautious, and sometimes they're afraid. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because you're becoming too powerful to be hidden anymore. You're no longer the Sagittarius searching for freedom. You're becoming freedom itself, not the one seeking answers, but the question that no one quite knows how to explain. Not the one chasing a path, but the presence that makes others want to follow, even if they don't understand why. And on this path, you'll start to understand why people are looking at you differently, why your every small gesture reaches deep into their souls, why even you are beginning to feel like you're standing at a beginning that has no turning back. If your heart has gone quiet lately, not from fear, but because it senses that something is shifting, then write this down. I am ready to embrace my great destiny. Don't write it because I told you to. Write it as a signal to the universe that you're ready to see yourself more clearly than ever before. Because what's coming to you isn't random, it's a response, a divine reply to all the silent growth you've been walking through for quite some time. And from this moment on, everything you once endured in silence will begin to receive its answer. But before you go any further, ask yourself this: are you ready for the world to witness the full light of who you truly are? Are you ready to stop shrinking? Because the next chapter, your light is no longer a choice, it's a calling, and it's time you walked into it. Have you ever noticed? There comes a point in life where you no longer feel the need to argue, not because you've given up, but because the truth within you has grown strong enough to not need defending with words. You become quieter, not out of resignation, but because you've realized the real battles are never out there. Sagittarius, you've arrived at a place where your energy is no longer shaped by your surroundings. You are the one shaping the environment now. Almost unconsciously, you're making others adjust the way they interact with you. They become more careful, more polite, more quiet in your presence. They can't call you a rebel anymore, because now you are the new order, one they can't deny. Jupiter, planet of expansion and divine wisdom, is lighting up your first house, your identity, your presence, and your 10th house, your public role, your mission, your legacy. This is no longer the season of self-discovery. This is the season of self-expression. Every step you take is a statement. No more blurred lines, no more being half in, half hidden, no more being bright one moment and dimming the next. You're stepping out, fully. And here's the strange part. When you're that clear, you don't need to try to stand out. You just do. When you live from the truth, you don't need to shout. People listen anyway. When you choose to slow down and live from the heart, the world slows down too. just to watch you more closely. Sagittarius, I've read the birth charts of so many of you, especially those going through this phase, and I keep seeing something quietly powerful. You're learning to protect your energy. You're no longer handing out optimism unconditionally. You're no longer offering your wisdom to people who don't actually want to listen. You're no longer laughing just to keep the peace. You're beginning to choose, and that choice is making you strong. So strong that some people don't know how to deal with you anymore. I still remember a message from a Sagittarius who had grown through it all. They wrote, "I no longer chase freedom. I am freedom, and that makes people feel I'm dangerous." I think that's one of the most accurate definitions of your energy right now. You used to wander because you needed to learn. You used to fight because you needed to know you had rights. You used to rebel because you needed to break out of the box, but now you just stand still. And the world shifts around you to adjust to your presence. And if you're feeling that right now, I want you to hear this. You are not on the wrong path. This is exactly where your soul prepares for a massive leap into purpose, because no one can hold back a Sagittarius when your soul has decided it's time to fly. You were not born to be fully understood. You were born to be a guiding flame, a lighthouse of your own kind of freedom, and sometimes that light is so different, so strong, it scares people away. But that's not your fault. It's a reminder. You weren't sent here to be agreeable. You were sent here to open the way. And yes, I know, it gets exhausting. You've had to grow up in solitude. You've had to ask yourself, why am I always the one who sees things before everyone else? But that's solitude. That's not a punishment. That's proof you're ahead of the curve. A flower that blooms early in the forest will always feel more alone. But it also means spring is coming. Have you ever felt people staring at you just because you were silent and still shining? Have you ever walked into a room and watched people subtly shift how they speak just because you were there? It's not that you're threatening them. It's just your light is revealing the shadows they tried to hide. And that makes people feel unsafe. But that's one of your core life lessons as a Sagittarius. True light isn't here to be liked. It's here to expose truth. And truth isn't always comfortable. One of the biggest life lessons I've learned from awakened Sagittarians is this: never shrink your real light just to stay in a small room. If you have to dim yourself down to be accepted, then that room was never meant for you. If you have to soften your soul just to avoid making others uncomfortable, then that group doesn't deserve you. Life isn't a competition to be the most understood. It's a journey back to your truest self. Whether anyone understands you or not. If you've ever sat quietly listening to a group of people talk about something and knew in your bones they're not seeing what you're seeing, then know this: you are not alone. There are many other Sagittarius souls on that same frequency, awake, deep, and still carrying open, soft hearts. Write this down. I am ready to be a light that needs no explanation. That isn't a slogan. It's a quiet, powerful knowing that you no longer need agreement in order to be yourself. Why have you become so different lately? Because Jupiter, your ruling planet, is calling you to a new level in your soul's journey. Your 10th house, your mission, your role in the world is being activated. And that means you can't pretend to be small anymore. Your first house, your identity, your presence is also expanding. You can't play safe anymore. You're being called to be a forerunner, to seed a new kind of world, and to do that, you must be willing to stand in your light, even if no one is clapping. The question is not, do they understand you? The question is, will you live truthfully, even if they're not ready? Because what's shifting in you right now is no longer just in your thoughts. It's moving into your frequency, your behavior, your destiny. Old relationships suddenly feel too loose. Old dreams lose their color. Old desires start to feel small. And somewhere deep within, you start to name something that was never clear before. That's your soul speaking. And it's saying, now is the time to live truthfully, not to be loved, but to be clear. And yes, clarity often comes with loneliness, but that's the price of real freedom. And for a Sagittarius, there's nothing worth keeping if it costs your freedom. I'm not saying you need to abandon everything. I'm just asking you, isn't it time to become the person you always knew you were born to be? Because in the next chapter, I'll reveal what's making people feel uneasy around you. It's not that you've changed your personality. It's that you're getting close to a power you've never fully allowed yourself to hold before. A power that's making you uncontainable. And that's when the truth starts to reveal itself. Are you ready? There is a kind of light that's very quiet. It doesn't flash. It doesn't compete. It doesn't explode. But once it shows up, everything else steps back. It's the kind of light that belongs to a soul that has found its true role in this wide, beautiful world. Sagittarius, you are entering that phase where light is no longer something you try to create. It's something you are now responsible for protecting, because when you begin to live from the truth, when you take your inner calling seriously, you are no longer just a person searching for meaning. You become a reminder to everyone who forgot who they really are. This is a sacred moment in time. Your 10th house, your house of public legacy, is being powerfully activated by Saturn, which means you are not in a trial period anymore. You are in manifestation. No more hesitation, no more avoidance. Saturn isn't the kind of god that hands out glory. It won't shower you with dazzling light, but it will give you something far more important: stability, true impact, sustainable success. And all of that always comes with tests. Right now, you're being watched, not because you're trying to stand out, but because you've become undeniably different. Even in your silence, you're no longer saying, "I'm going to do it." You're already doing it, quietly. And that's what people can't ignore anymore. You might feel pressure. You might feel like every step is under review, like you're being tested on every level. But let me tell you something. This is not punishment. This is an invitation from the universe, from Saturn, from your 10th house, to step into the greater role you were born to fulfill. You're no longer the observer at the edge. You're being asked to step into the center of something much larger. And you're not here to be the most impressive person in the room. You're here to take responsibility for the influence you carry. Maybe you're already feeling it at work. Opportunities that once felt out of reach suddenly appear. But they come with a kind of pressure you've never felt before. Offers arrive from people you never expected to notice you. Responsibilities come tied to titles you once only dreamed of. That's the essence of Saturn in your 10th house. It doesn't hand you anything for free. It doesn't reward the loudest. It gives you power. But only after you prove you can hold that power with kindness and consistency. So if you feel like you're being tested harder than ever, that's not a mistake. That's your confirmation. You're on the right track. You're no longer the one telling inspiring stories. You're becoming the story itself. A real journey. A true guide. Not by theory, but through lived experience. And if anyone is watching you, talking about you, waiting for you to fail, don't let it shake you, because real light doesn't need to hide. And the Sagittarius who's aligned with their purpose, no one can block that path. Do you remember those years when everything felt unclear? When you kept starting and then stopping? When you followed the spark, but feared commitment? That wasn't failure. That was preparation. And now that you're finally serious about what you believe in, you're rewriting what freedom even means. Freedom no longer means doing whatever you want. It means doing what needs to be done without needing to be pushed or praised or validated. This is spiritual maturity. Because you're no longer living for temporary highs. You're building something that lasts, something you can pass down, something that changes the world. Not all at once, but brick by brick. You've gone from dreamer to igniter, from wanderer to architect of a new world. And the world needs Sagittarians like you right now, those who dare to do what's right, even if they're misunderstood, those who dare to stand in their truth, even if no one claps, those who dare to act on something big, even while still carrying old wounds. I used to think career was just a modern concept, but the deeper I go into astrology, the more I understand. Career, real career, is the continuation of the soul. It's the place where your soul leaves visible marks on the earth. And your 10th house, that's where your soul's work lives. So don't let anyone tell you you're just dreaming. Not everyone dares to dream this big, and even fewer know how to turn dreams into something real. Sagittarius is the sign that sees the final picture, even when everyone else only sees puzzle pieces. And if you've been wondering, am I strong enough? The answer is, you always were. You just didn't know it yet. And now is the time to stop doubting and start living like you're the peace the world has been waiting for. Don't worry if you're not being recognized right away. Real light always arrives last, when people are too tired of chasing what's fake. The lesson of the 10th house is not how to get famous. It's how do I keep my heart intact as I begin to influence others. You are being tested, not to break you, but to prove that you are worthy of what you're heading toward. The universe never tests souls that don't have the power to pass. You're being tested because you're ready to rise to a higher level, truer, deeper, more potent than ever before. And if you're reading these words with a lump in your throat, with that deep, unmistakable resonance, then write this down. I am ready to take my place in this world, because in the next chapter, I'll show you what's really waiting on the other side. A rare opportunity to turn your soul into a legacy, but only after you've met the challenge of the 10th house, to take full responsibility for your own impact? Are you ready to become not just a light, but a guiding flame for those still lost in the dark? There's a certain kind of loneliness that's hard to name. It doesn't come from lack of company. It comes from seeing everything through a different set of eyes. You walk into familiar rooms, you hear the same old stories, the same voices, the same laughter. But something inside you no longer fits, not because they've changed, but because your energy is no longer vibrating on the same plane. This is the moment. People start whispering about you. Not loudly, not directly, just silent stares, curious glances, careful tones, questions they never ask out loud. But you feel them. What's going on with them lately? They're so quiet, so focused. Feels like they're planning something. Can you feel it? That thin, subtle line, barely visible, but undeniably real, growing between you and the world you once belonged to. It's not that you've become distant. It's not that you're suddenly shutting yourself off. The truth is, you're changing on the inside. And when your inner world changes, your frequency shifts too. Old frequencies, no matter how loving, can't always stay in harmony anymore. That's the law of vibration. No one escapes it. As you go deeper into your path, your energy begins to upgrade. You're no longer drawn to what used to thrill you. You're no longer entertained by shallow conversation. You no longer feel the need to prove anything. Your silence now carries a new kind of power. It's no longer a place to hide. It's a place of focus, a space where you listen inwardly, where you connect to something sacred guiding you forward. And that makes the people from your past uncomfortable. Not because they're bad, but because they don't understand. They don't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel. They're not ready to enter a life that's more real, more intentional, the way you now are. You're not cold. You're focused. You're not arrogant. You're protecting your energy. You're not quiet. You're evolving. And sometimes, growing up means letting people misunderstand you without letting it harden your heart. Because truth is, no one can fully grasp the journey of a soul undergoing deep transformation. Not everyone is tuned in enough to realize you're not silent out of anger. You're quiet because you're reconstructing your entire being. Let me tell you something. From someone who's been exactly where you are not alone. There are so many souls, especially Sagittarians like you, who are in the middle of this same energetic upgrade. That sense of separation. It doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're going inward so that you can come back into connection that's truly aligned. One day, you'll meet people who don't need you to shrink in order to be loved. People who won't need you to be easy to understand in order to accept you. They'll love your depth. They'll value your light, even if it hasn't fully taken shape yet. But before that day comes, you need to learn how to stand still in your own flame of transformation. Don't run from being stared at. Don't dim yourself just because someone calls you too intense. Don't return to an old version of you just to make others feel comfortable. Sagittarius, you've come too far to go back, and the light you now carry is far too sacred to be twisted and reshaped just to fit in small frames. If you've ever sat with your closest friends and suddenly felt like you don't belong anymore, please understand, that doesn't mean you're betraying anyone. It means your soul is moving forward, and the most honorable thing you can do now is to keep walking with kindness. If this resonates with you, write it down. I choose to protect my light, even if others don't understand it. Because in the deepest transitions, you don't need a crowd. You just need one soul strong enough to hold steady with truth. Have you ever felt like a mystery in the middle of a familiar room, like a presence both known and unknowable? That's because you're changing frequencies. And when a soul shifts vibration, the whole world around them starts to shake too. Some things will fall away. Some people will step back. But don't be afraid, because as you clarify your energy, you begin to magnetize exactly what aligns with it. And you won't need to prove anything. You just have to live honestly. Your presence alone will be a powerful invitation to the souls who are searching for what you found. People look at you because you carry something real, something they can't find anywhere else. They look because you've already made it through what they're still struggling with. They look because you've stepped into truth while they're still hiding from it. They look because deep down, they know you're no longer who you used to be. But don't worry. Don't rush to explain. Don't shrink your light back down. Keep walking, because up ahead, there are souls waiting for you. Souls who've been waiting for the light you carry, so that they too can step out of their own shadows. And in the next part, I'll share what happens when your life becomes a sacred recognition. When you stop living just for yourself and start becoming a light for people you haven't even met yet. And sometimes, purpose doesn't arrive in fireworks. It shows up on the most ordinary days. It appears in the question you no longer want to avoid. It lives in the small actions you decide to do differently. Not for anyone else, but because you know this is right. You're changing the way you wake up in the morning. You no longer scroll your feed to fill your mind. You sit still to hear what needs to be heard. You no longer say yes automatically. You pause and ask, is this truly right for me? You no longer chase being liked. You start living as if you were already worthy of respect, just by being you. And that is how a great mission begins, through tiny shifts no one sees. But your soul knows completely. And as your sixth house, the house of service, daily routines, health, and sacred discipline, is awakened by Jupiter and Neptune, you start to understand something. Purpose is not a glamorous destination. It's a way of living with intention every day. Purpose is choosing to speak truth in a room full of masks. Purpose is not reacting right away, but reflecting instead. Purpose is holding on to love in your vibration, even when you have every reason to be angry. You are not born to shout into the noise of the crowd. You are born to be a lighthouse in the fog, silent, unshaken, unafraid of being unseen. And now, the ninth house, the realm of spiritual wisdom, sacred truth, and vast vision, is calling you to remember this. You are the messenger. You are the rhythm keeper for wandering souls. You are the one who clears the path, not with theory, not with formula, but with the lessons carved into your living experience. The world doesn't need more concepts. It needs souls who've walked through the dark and still chose the light. That's you. Sagittarius. When Jupiter, your ruling planet, brushes against Neptune, the dream weaver, the mystic of the cosmos, something sacred awakens. It's the repositioning of your soul's role in the grand design. You begin to see your work not as just a career, but as a calling. You begin to recognize that certain encounters weren't just coincidences. They were soul appointments. And you begin to sense that every step you've taken has been marked by divine timing. You are no longer living a separate private life. You are part of a symphony, and your voice, your truth, has the power to open doors for others to return to themselves. I know, you might still be carrying doubts. You've failed before. You've lost your faith. You've been deeply hurt because once you believed you had found the way, only to watch it collapse. I know what that feels like, and I want you to understand this. None of it was wasted. Not a single crack was meaningless. Those wounds, they made you deep enough to truly understand someone else's pain. Those falls, they didn't make you bitter. They made you humble. Those losses, they taught you how to reach for another's hand without needing anything in return. You didn't come back to start over. You came back to live differently, to live truthfully, to live like someone who understands that every action, every word, every breath leaves a frequency in this space. So, if you've ever wrestled with the question, what is my purpose? Maybe it's time to release the question altogether and return to something simpler, something softer. Today, am I living in alignment with what I believe is right? Living in truth is the mission, whether you're planting seeds in the soil or planting ideas in minds, whether you're a teacher, a healer, an artist, or simply someone trying to become whole again. If you're doing it from the light within you, you are fulfilling your sacred purpose. And when you fully step into your role, when you stop asking permission to exist, when you no longer wait for someone else to name you worthy, that's when your soul begins to emit a very rare kind of light. Soft, clear, magnetic, the kind of light that makes others want to come closer, and at the same time, makes them reflect on their own truth. You don't need anyone to understand. You don't need applause. You don't need permission. You just need to understand and keep going. And if one day you start to question, if you wonder, I'm not sure I have what it takes, then return to the place you started, to that quiet moment when you whispered to yourself, I can't live like this anymore. That feeling, that is the doorway to your purpose. That moment when you finally said, enough. That was when your soul began to move toward the light. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to be brave enough to place your hand over your heart and say, I'm still here, and I will not give up my light. Write it down. I choose to live my purpose every day, not because they understand, but because I'm real. That is your mantra, the one that will anchor you when the noise of the world tries to pull you back into the old patterns. And if you've written those words, then the next part is for you. Because now, we begin to explore what happens when a Sagittarius no longer lives just to roam, but begins to live, to lead. Do you want to know something beautifully ironic? That the people who laugh the loudest are often the ones who have felt the deepest pain, that the souls who seem to care the least are the ones who ache the most to be understood. And you, Sagittarius, you know this, not from theory, but from living it, because you were once that person, the one who wore a wide smile, just to hide the cracks inside. the one who played the clown in the group. Because if you paused, someone might see the heaviness in your eyes. The one who ran far and fast to new places. Because staying meant having to face the cold silence in the place you once called home. But now, you can't run anymore. Not because you're weaker, but because the universe is asking you to turn around. To look at the roots, not to escape, but to finally heal. The fourth house, the root of the soul. It holds the earliest beliefs about love, worth, safety, and existence. And when this house is activated, everything you once swallowed down begins to rise, not to punish you, but to free you. Did you grow up in a home where feelings weren't allowed, where only logic, responsibility, success, and right and wrong mattered, where tears were seen as weakness, and gentleness was a luxury no one could afford? Have you heard words like, "Don't be so dramatic"? Everyone goes through this. It's no big deal. You're too sensitive, too emotional. If you've heard those words and believed them, then it makes sense that you've learned to disconnect from your true feelings. You've learned to live above your head, to use your mind to control your heart, but your heart was never meant to be controlled. It was meant to lead. And now, the eighth house, house of transformation, is calling you to return, to let your heart speak. You can't heal in silence. You can't be free while pretending. You can only step into the light when you're willing to name the shadows. Maybe you found yourself suddenly angry over something small, or crying without reason while walking down the street, or wanting to call someone from your past, not to blame them, but simply to say, that feeling is still here. All of that is real, and it is the beginning of healing. Truth can't stay buried forever. It leaks out through our actions, through our choices, through the patterns we repeat again and again, until one day you stop, not to suffer, but to understand. I know, sometimes you feel ashamed of being too sensitive, but imagine a world where no one feels anything, where no one hurts when they see suffering, where no one cries at injustice, where no one aches when their own heart begins to break. That's not strength, that's numbness. And you, Sagittarius, you remind the world of this truth. That emotion is proof the heart is still alive, still believing, still loving, still brave enough to hope for something better. You are not weak. You are a river that breathes. You are a heart that speaks. If the world has told you that you need to toughen up to survive, I invite you to do the opposite. Soften. Soften until you no longer resist what is moving through you. Soften until your softness becomes sacred, because it is true. Imagine a generation of souls like you, souls who are no longer ashamed of being hurt, no longer ashamed of their tears, souls who dare to live, to feel, to love, without apologizing for it. Can you see it? The greatest truth is your emotion, and if you dare to stay with it long enough, it will become the voice others haven't found the courage to speak. It will lead you to relationships that feel more real, more safe. It will make you magnetic, not because you're perfect, but because you're sincere. Write this down so you don't forget. I choose to live with an open heart, even when the world stays closed. I choose to feel because that's how I know I'm truly alive. I choose to be real because pretending no longer makes me feel safe. And if you've written that, take a deep breath, gently, and say to yourself, my emotions are not a burden, they are a gift, and you are not alone. In the next part, you will witness what happens when a Sagittarius not only dares to feel, but dares to act from that very heart, when you not only heal yourself, but become the keeper of emotional fire in a world starving for authenticity. There comes a moment in life when the light inside you begins to change its nature. It's no longer the impulsive flame of youth that burns bright and fades just as quickly. It's no longer the light that seeks to prove your worth to the world. Now, your light is quieter, deeper, and heavier. Heavy, not because it weighs you down, but because it demands a strong foundation, one that can carry it much farther than before. Sagittarius, this is the moment you step into a new kind of radiance, a radiance that comes with responsibility. The more you mature, the more your light evokes both admiration and caution, not because you've become harsh, but because you no longer live just to be liked. You live to be true. Jupiter, your ruling planet of expansion and truth, and Pluto, the planet of power, symbolic death and deep transformation, are working together to elevate you to a level from which you can no longer turn back. The universe is no longer asking, do you want to shine? It's now asking, are you strong enough to carry the light you've been given? Because you can't shrink anymore. You can't stay small. You can't hide behind someone else anymore. And you know it. You're starting to see clearly. Every word you speak carries weight. Every action you take ripples through the energy field. Every choice you make becomes an example for someone watching you, even if you don't know they're watching. You've started learning how to set boundaries, not because you want to push people away, but because you know your presence is no longer up for negotiation. You've stopped explaining your differences, not because you're arrogant, but because you understand the ones who truly see you don't need a reason. You've started doing what feels right, even when no one claps. And in that quiet moment, you began to live as your true self. I know, this isn't easy. The moment you step into the role of a guide, you'll face reactions you've never encountered before. You'll be watched more closely. Some people will challenge you, not because they doubt you, but to test if your light is as real as it appears. Some will feel uneasy because you've stepped outside the invisible system of control they once found comfort in. But you don't have to worry about that, because real light doesn't need to be recognized. It just needs to be held, lived, passed on. Great responsibility doesn't come to those chasing comfort. It comes to those willing to let go of convenience and take their gifts seriously. You're beginning to understand the difference between mission and desire, between being liked and being trusted, between being approachable and being respected. Your light is transforming into influence, and influence, when used with integrity, becomes a force of powerful healing. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be accountable for the energy you bring into this world. Have you noticed? The more authentic you become, the more you turn into a mirror for others. The clearer you are, the harder it becomes for others to pretend around you. The more aligned you live, the more others feel called to change. That's the sign of real influence. And it often comes with natural separation, not because you isolate yourself, but because the universe is protecting your energy, filtering out the frequencies that no longer match so that your vision can grow deeper, wider, more resilient. Jupiter is expanding your reach, but Pluto is deepening your roots. You are being asked to look inward and ask, where do I truly want to bring my light, and for what greater purpose? Because if you're still living to make others comfortable, you'll burn yourself out. If you're still afraid of being misunderstood, you'll shrink your power before it even takes shape. But if you choose to live from a place of clarity, not for recognition, just for what's right, then you are beginning to become a firekeeper. A firekeeper doesn't need a stage. They just need a breeze that's gentle enough, not to blow the flame out, and a night deep enough for the light they carry to truly mean something. You're no longer the Sagittarius who runs wild in every direction. You're becoming the place people return to when they need the truth. And that means you must start living as if every step you take is an unwritten teaching. Don't underestimate your impact just because results aren't instant. Don't abandon your role just because no one claps. Don't dim your light just because someone says it's too bright. Write this down like a silent vow. I keep my light, not to be praised, but to remind the world of what is sacred. And remember, true responsibility doesn't break you. It matures you. It makes you quieter, more understanding, more selective, and in the end, stronger. You don't need many people around you. You only need the few souls who understand. True light often walks hand in hand with a deep silence. And if you're still reading this, know that you are ready. Ready to stop pleasing. Ready to stop explaining. Ready to walk as someone who has learned the lesson of who am I, and now teaches it simply by existing. And in the final part, I'll tell you what happens when you've held your light, lived truthfully with responsibility, and passed through every fear. You no longer need anyone to give you permission to shine, because that permission has always been in your own hands. It's time to stop asking, what do they think of me? And start asking, what do I think of myself when I'm no longer pretending to be someone else? Sagittarius, you've walked a hard road, from someone desperate to be understood, to someone who knows. Truth does not need to be understood to be valuable. From a soul searching for belonging, to a soul who creates safety from within, from a heart afraid of being seen, to a light that can no longer be hidden. They see you as different now. They see your silence, but it draws them in. They see you're no longer panicked. They see you walking without waiting for agreement, without needing to push anyone away. But the truth is, they're not seeing something new. They're seeing the real you for the first time, alive, breathing, no longer hiding. You don't have to prove anything anymore. You don't have to be understood anymore. You only need to keep walking toward the light that keeps calling your name. Even if you're still anxious, even if you feel alone, even if there are days you're unsure. Because that light doesn't ask for perfection. It only asks for your truth. Look back. All the things that once made you feel too different, too sensitive, too intense, too wild, are now the very things that make up your inner strength. You no longer need to pull away from others. You no longer have to force yourself to fit in. You are becoming the one who preserves life force itself, a living symbol that says you can grow and still keep your freedom. This is the true destination. For a Sagittarius soul who has walked through darkness, and is finally beginning to return to themselves. You're no longer searching for the light at the end of the tunnel, because you are that light now, showing others the way out. And maybe you don't hear the applause, but I promise you, awakened souls are quietly thanking you for not giving up. The universe is opening a new doorway, a phase that is no longer measured by goals, but by presence, not by achievement, but by how honest you are with your soul. You're not chasing anymore. You're beginning to receive, and only those who are brave enough to live authentically will even see that doorway. There is no map, only intuition. There is no schedule, only trust. There is no guarantee, only a silent promise. If you step forward, the path will rise to meet you. And if your heart is beginning to feel quieter, deeper, but also clearer, then you've already entered this new chapter. And if you feel these words are speaking to you, write it down. I am ready to live in alignment with my own light. Let that sentence become a vow, a testimony, a whispered hymn between realms. And if this message touched something in you, please like this video and share it, not to spread information, but to transmit a frequency of souls who choose truth over convenience, a frequency of those who no longer live to be loved, but love from a place that needs no conditions. In the next part, I will speak about a powerful shift coming for Sagittarius. At the end of December, when everything you once planted will begin to bloom, the seeds you placed quietly, in moments of doubt, in moments of fragile hope, are beginning to sprout. No one saw how deep your roots went, but the light that's coming will prove that everything you held on to was worth it. Stay, because your journey is not over, and your light is needed in places you haven't even arrived at yet.